Hey, Light Warriors. Today we're going to discuss epigenetics as it plays an important role in our everyday life journey. And epigenetics is the study of how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes work. So epi means above our genetics. So we all have genetics, and we've all been programmed that we are maybe a victim of our genetics. And as we could see here, there are actually many things that can dictate how our body reads our genetic code. And we could see psychological state, our diet, seasonal rhythms, disease exposure, toxic chemicals, drugs of abuse, financial status, exercise, microbiome, what's going on inside of your gut, therapeutic drugs, alternative medicine, social interactions, and psychological state. All of these play a role on how our body is actually reading our genetic code. And years ago, Dr. Bruce Lipton, he came across the reality that only half of the women with the breast cancer gene actually expressed having breast cancer. So then he realized, right, why is there only half the people that actually have the gene that are actually expressing this cancer? So there are many things that are going to determine our lifespan and our overall health. And a lot of us are aware of diet, and we always want to be conscious of eating healthy. And there's many quote-unquote types of diets, but we always want to intake nutrients, micronutrients that are best for our greatest purpose. And, a lot that goes along with that is toxic chemicals. A lot of people, they're not aware of maybe some of the toxic chemicals that could come in food. We could know that there are toxic chemicals in cigarettes, and we could see a correlation where, say, people that smoke a lot of cigarettes, they might have a uptick in the cancer rate, right? And we actually discussed this in detail, how years ago, in certain advertisements, and doctors in advertisements were promoting cigarettes. Now we know better. Okay, so psychological state is very important for how our body is going to express our genes. Our psychological state. Are we in a psychological state of fear and shame? And these are the lowest states of vibrational frequency. And if we are in the psychological state of love, if we are above these lower states, we're going to express our health, our genes differently. Social interactions, they're very important. And a lot of people in the past year have been suffering with their physical, mental, and spiritual health because they're lacking social interactions. And as we see, our social interactions are important for how our body is going to express genes, how we're going to be healthy over the course of our journey. Think about when you come across people, and people that, light you up. You get so excited to see them and how they make you feel so much better. And when we're alone and separate, it's going to make our physical, mental, and spiritual health decline. And there's alternative medicine. And many people are coming across this. And, maybe over the course of time, And that's why psychological state, subconscious programs, we were shown or programmed that, certain alternative medicines might not be best for us, right? Eastern medicine, say, Western medicine, right? A lot of side effects here, therapeutic drugs, side effects, we're aware of that. Our microbiome is very important. How is our gut health? We want to be focused on our gut health. And, our gut is like our second or actually third brain. And a lot of our immune system lies within our guts. So it's important that it's not all clogged up with a lot of pollutants. Go back to toxic chemicals, right? Sometimes they could linger and get trapped inside the gut, within the villi of our intestines, right? We have these little protrusions that stick out to try to increase surface area so that we could absorb as much nutrients as possible as they pass through our gut. And sometimes a lot of toxic chemicals could get caught inside of our gut. It's important to clean it out. Exercise is always important, regardless of the type of exercise. The water must flow. I heard someone talk about that once. Oh, yes, that was me. The waters of the body must flow. So whatever the exercise is, you need to move the waters of the body because you are mostly water and the waters must flow in and out of the body. So exercise is important. Financial status can also play a role. A lot of people, they might not have certain amounts of money to have a nice diet, a higher vibrational diet. A lot of you are seeing this, that you're aware. You go to the store and you could see how organic food is so much more expensive. A lot of people don't have the money to eat organic all the time. And that's why you see things like on the dollar meal at fast food restaurants. And do they serve the greatest purpose for our bodies? All of these things together pose what our body is going to manifest and how we read genes. Drugs of abuse, they could cause certain genes to come out. Our surroundings are part of how we are going to express our genes. And we have even seen examples of this when it comes to identical twins. And they live under different circumstances and they express genes differently. Sometimes we're exposed to disease from the outside and how our bodies will react to it goes back to our psychological state. And that comes in the form of the placebo and nocebo effects. And if you're in the state of fear, the nocebo effect will happen and it can make it worse. And that's why it's important when it comes to our epigenetics that we remove fear from our everyday life experience. And when we're positive, the power of positivity, we're actually able to heal ourselves quicker. During different seasons, there are different rhythms, and our bodies will shed and react differently throughout the course of different seasons. You might gain weight during certain seasons, and your body will express genes a certain way. Maybe your metabolism will go slower. Sometimes your metabolism will speed up. But we're starting to learn that there are many aspects that are going to dictate how we express different genes. And that's why it's not only just the genes themselves. It's our surroundings. It's what we put into our body. And we need to be aware of it. And when we really focus on the corner that we see here, diet, psychological state, social interactions, and alternative medicine, these are the ways that we could take control every single day, being focused on the types of foods that we eat, our psychological state, subconscious programs, being positive, social interactions, the people that we surround ourselves with. When we have higher vibrational people, our body is going to respond better. Sometimes, and many of you are aware, it could be negative, narcissistic abuse. A lot of my empaths out there understand about narcissistic abuse. Are my empaths out there? Raise your hand. I got you again, Light Warriors. I can't see your hand. But we are aware of social interactions. Everything could be a positive or a negative. When you have positive social interactions, when you're surrounded by people that love you, you're going to express your physical body differently. So everything can play a role in how we express our genes. We are not victims to our genes themselves. And everything plays a specific role. And it could be a positive or a negative. And now we're thinking differently. A lot of times through the subconscious programs, we're programmed into believing that there is only one way. Maybe only one way that our health is going to be expressed. But our health can be expressed many different ways. And we're becoming conscious of our mental health. And we're learning the truth about these things. Because when we're in these better states, when we avoid toxic chemicals and drugs of abuse, these are ways that we can improve the way that our body is going to express itself. And if it calls you, you should look up Dr. Bruce Lipton and his work on epigenetics. And it's very important, especially during this time period, because many people are dealing with mental health. And it's a rough time because a lot of our social interactions, right, we're separate from each other. Our psychological state, we're seeing a lot of evil in the world. And we're upset that the evil is not going away. It's all spiritual health, and it results in our epigenetic response. And I hope that this presentation today helps you expand your consciousness, that there is so much more out there. So many ways that we can improve our health and be conscious of things that might not be for the best, right? So, and there are certain things that, we're just part of this world, like seasonal changes. You will respond differently. But the things when we're pulling out and we're detoxing, more and more people are getting into detoxing right now, pulling chemicals out of their body with the right diet and certain foods that will pull out these toxic chemicals and heavy metals. A long time ago, I shared with you the power of cilantro and pulling out heavy metals. And if you incorporate cilantro in your daily diet, you can pull out heavy metals. I will share that link. But be aware of all of these attributes, all that can help you express your genes more efficiently. Because they all play a role. A lot of people's guts, microbiome, it's thrown off. And there's a lot of toxic sludge that collects in our gut. A lot of things can also manifest mentally and spiritually. our solar plexus, where a lot of anxiety leads, and a lot of people's intestines are a little messed up because of anxiety that comes from our day-to-day life. And over the course of our journey, no one's journey is perfect. And we need to be conscious of things that might throw our gene expression off and things that can improve our gene expression. Because no two people are the same. But we're becoming aware of our epigenetic response. Epigenetics before genetics, above genetics. So take the time to review this chart. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Because we're learning more about our reality in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And when we're aware of epigenetics and all of the factors that can change the way our physical vessel represents our genetics, we could take back control of our everyday life experience. If you find this message interesting and you would like to learn more about our reality in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, why don't you click subscribe, give the video a like so it becomes visible to more people, and please share with one other person, because when we all share with one other person, we will rapidly grow our 5D community. And please share in the comments maybe some of what you see on this chart and how you could improve your everyday life now that we're becoming conscious of our epigenetics, that there are things in our surroundings that can affect our everyday life experience. So I hope that this presentation was helpful for all of you. Please share this message with others so that they can also improve their everyday life and start thinking differently about everything that's out there. There's not just one path. As you can see from this chart, there are many paths. And when we put it all together, we understand our journey. And everyone is going through a journey right now. And we all might be struggling with maybe one of these factors that you see on the board. But together, we're becoming conscious of it all. And when we're conscious of it, then we can make the changes, because free will is the law of the universe. And I hope that this presentation today helps you. I will be putting together a part 2 of this presentation for Patreon. If you care to join our Patreon, we share a little bit more information there. And I'm grateful for your attention, and I'm grateful for sharing as we collectively are expanding the consciousness of humanity. Remember, we cannot control what is around us. However, we can control from within. Be conscious of our epigenetics within our genetics, and be conscious of decisions and changes that we could make in our everyday life to have a much better journey. I love you all. Please share this message and let me know in the comments, did you like this presentation? I'm grateful for all of you that are supporting me, and I was able to have this new presentation with the new device that I have, and I hope that it came out pretty good. I'll be putting together many more new types of presentations for all of you, and I'm grateful for your attention and for all of you that are sharing this information and sharing our channel. And we're all going to improve our everyday life experience. I hope that this message was helpful for all of you. Have a great day. Namaste.